Hey everybody, it's Sam with Wrestling Overtime with your AEW Dynamite Raves and Rants review for April 15th, 2020. Now, I know that some of you have probably noticed that you've had to wait on this one. I think the main reason that you had to wait on this was because I think for the first time since definitely the pandemic has started, maybe the first time ever, I was actually disappointed with an AEW show. And I've been kind of sitting and thinking, why? You know, what do I want to say in this Raves and Rants review? Why do I want to give them a bad review? Why do I want to rant about this? Because, you know, a little bit on paper, this seems like it would have been a good show, or at least average show, but that it had the hallmarks of being a great show. And I think I wonder why. Why was this at least not an average show? Because where they have set the bar, where AEW has come out and said, this is where we are, this is where we stand, they didn't meet that bar. And I think I'm so disappointed. I think that's why I haven't really wanted to put into words what I saw and what is out there. I mean, we started off the show with Tony Schiavone and Chris Jericho. And immediately, that gets my hopes up. Tony Schiavone is one of the best. I know that so many out there of you love JR, and I love JR too, but Tony Schiavone to me is who I grew up with. He is the voice in my head when I think of wrestling in my childhood, and he is home to me. And so to hear him back in the booth, I think a lot of times I take him for granted. And then I think Chris Jericho is just unbelievable. I think when you see his career, he is just unbelievable. How many times he's reinvented himself, how many times he's come up with new gimmicks, how many times he has just proven that he knows the wrestling business inside and out. Not just as a wrestler, but, I mean, when I hear him announcing he's in the booth, yes, he is playing his current gimmick, but he is also proving to us how much of a mat technician he is, how well he knows how to get people over and portray them in words and talk to us fans in order to get us excited. So as soon as I started watching this, I think just seeing those two as the commentators, I think immediately I had high hopes. And then, you know, with them going over what the card was and everything, I was excited. And of course, our first match is the TNT Championship quarterfinal match. And it's Lance Archer versus Colt Cabana. And I think I had high hopes that this would be an unbelievable match. And I'm going to be honest with you, I thought it was. I thought it was a great start to this program because I felt like, yes, this could have been went one of two ways. I think AEW could have made the decision to make this a jobber match and Lance Archer, you know, basically beat down Colt Cabana in 2 or 3 minutes and establish Lance Archer as a monster. I'm so glad AEW made that decision not to do that. Because Colt Cabana isn't a jobber. He's been in this game, 15, 20 years. He's an unbelievable, underrated wrestler. I think because he has been on the indie circuit so long that a lot of people don't understand how good he is. How it doesn't matter if you see him this week, he may be a comedic wrestler. Well, you can see him 3 days later, and he'll be a technician. And then this week, you may see him, and he'll be a monster heel. He has the ability to play so many different roles. And I am glad that AEW did not want to get Lance Archer established as this monster so bad that they just threw him out there in a 3-minute match. I don't know who made that decision. I don't know if the wrestlers made that decision, whether someone on their creative team of, the Jacksons and Kenny Omega and Cody made that. I don't know if Tony Khan made that. I don't know if it was all of them, on Zoom or on the phone, texting back and forth made that. But I'm so glad that they went with the second option where they actually had a match. And while Lance Archer was established as a monster and someone that you needed to really be aware of in the ring, and that he has power, but by allowing it to be a longer match, we got to see that Lance Archer has agility, he has athleticism, he's not afraid to leave the mat, he's not afraid to take chances, he's not afraid to go out of the ring, he's not afraid to yell at the referee and intimidate, Aubrey. He wasn't afraid to shove cameramen. I think by allowing this to be a longer match, and allowing Tony and Chris Jericho to really paint his picture, I feel like I got to know him better. And I know that's crazy. And the WWE way of doing things would say, you didn't really get to know him, you didn't get to see a vignette of him, or you didn't get to see an interview with him, or you didn't get to see a promo of him. No, but I still felt like I got to know him. I still felt like, by Jericho and Tony Schiavone of actually talking about him and talking about him wrestling in Japan and different circuits, they got to talk a little bit about his past, but then, like I said, I got to see all of this in the ring. And it made me be more intrigued by him, because I don't know Lance Archer. I've looked him up. As far as when I heard that he was coming to AEW, I looked up some stuff on YouTube. Not a lot, I'll just be honest with you guys. I don't really know Lance Archer. He intrigued me from the get-go because Jake the Snake Roberts, who, is well known in the wrestling community, was going to be his manager or his advisor or whatever you want to call him. So I wanted to get to know him. But by having this match with Colt Cabana, it established him more. I want to see him more. I want to see what he's going to do in AEW. What's he going to create? What is he building for a championship? Is he someone I'm going to root for? Is he someone I'm going to love to hate? Right now, he doesn't have any go-away heat. I want him on my TV. But also, by having a longer match, I want more Colt Cabana. He was able to get some offense on him. He was able to defend some maneuvers. He was able to show me, yes, he belongs in AEW. No, he's not a jobber. No, he's not someone I'm writing off. Colt Cabana's not going to be somebody that as soon as I hear their name, going to be like, oh, that's the loser, whoever he's going against, they're going to win. No, they actually established, I think, that Colt Cabana is just getting his feet wet and that he is here to kind of be a player in AEW and create something. I'm excited, looking for Boom Boom Cabana. But I thought this match was really, really good. I was excited, that this ended with Archer doing the one-handed chokeslam. And I was amazed. But then I had been watching him do the blackout for, the last couple weeks. And I believe it was last week's review or the week before. I said, I want to see him do the blackout against someone, obviously not Marco Stunt. And he did. He did the blackout against Colt Cabana. And I loved how Jericho brought it up. Oh my gosh, here's Colt Cabana that's, 250 pounds. He's lifting him above his head and flipping him over. And I thought that was an awesome, awesome maneuver. And so, like I said, this started off to be an absolutely great episode. Then we got Dr. Britt Baker. And I've been talking about how I definitely like her being a heel better. I definitely like how she has been coming along. They did a promo and it brought me down a little bit. I didn't like that promo. I don't know. There was something about it. I liked the ending where she had the shot and she squirted the shot. But as far as what she had to say, I don't think it was a good promo. I think someone needs to really focus her, work with her. Maybe she needs more than bullet points, or if she's not using bullet points, maybe she does need bullet points. I don't know. I just really felt with this being a tape segment, there could have been more there. Established. I didn't like the line, and I can't remember the exact line, but I didn't like the line about her saying she didn't care if Shadia broke her nose as long as her teeth were okay or something like that. I didn't think that came off well. I know it was supposed to be heelish, but it wasn't. It wasn't enough. And so I was thinking, they went to commercial and I was like, I don't know about this. Well, when we come back, we're immediately thrown into the Cassandra Golden versus Dr. Britt Baker match. And I was just like, I wasn't excited about this match. Number one, I don't know who Cassandra Golden is. And that's okay, because with this being AEW, I know I'm not going to know everybody. But I think it was because I was so down after that promo on Britt Baker that I felt like I couldn't get into it. I didn't feel like she got me excited for this match. I didn't feel like, I was interested in what she was going to do. And with this match, what they did was really almost have Baker make a quick work of Cassandra Golden. And I don't think she used a lot of heel tactics. I understand she used her heel tactic. I wish she would have added maybe just a little bit more. Loved that I saw her super kick and then her putting Golden's mouth around the rope for the stomp. She had did that before. Like I said, this is going to be, I hope, her heel tactic of hurting someone. I like that. I like that, with her being a dentist, that she is basically going to destroy people's teeth. I really enjoy that. But I just felt like maybe there's something more that I'm looking for with Baker is her torturing people more. Since she's a dentist, and that's the thing that I want to think of when I see dentists on TV or in the movies, is how torturous they are. And maybe she needs to come out to the drill of the dentist or something like that. But I think the something more that I'm wanting from her is her torturing them just a little more in the ring before wrapping their mouth around and going for the stomp and then doing the pin. But this match didn't, like I said, it kind of left me wanting something. I don't know exactly what it was. This next match, I was surprised, I have to say, with Shug D coming out. He needs to change his name. Chris Jericho has named him Pineapple Pete. If he's going to wear the pineapple shirt, he needs to just be Pineapple Pete. I know that obviously when this particular wrestler was signed and he come up with his gimmick, he was going to be Shug D. And it's hard to tell what exactly his gimmick was he wanted to do. But Chris Jericho has changed it. He is Pineapple Pete, and I loved how Chris Jericho continued to reference him as that. Of course, he took on the Spanish God, Sammy Guevara. This match, it was good. It did, I think, what it was supposed to do. And I think the reason why I think it was good was, again, because of Chris Jericho and Tony Schiavone and how they portrayed it and how they got into it. I really enjoyed Chris Jericho. I enjoyed him establishing, this character of Pineapple Pete and how he didn't like him and how he had been against the ring watching the last couple episodes and how he had told Sammy to get out there and get after this guy, make him pay, and everything. So we got a backstory on this from Jericho. And I thought this was a good match because of their commentary and their back and forth and the things that Jericho was saying to tell a story. Do I think the match told the story? I don't know. If Jericho wouldn't have been on commentary, would I have thought this was a good match? I don't know. Looking back on it, I don't know. But because Jericho was there and Tony was there to be a straight man and do, the play-by-play, they did tell a story. Loved Sammy squatting Pineapple Pete and Jericho saying, look at that technique. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was awesome. And Jericho pointing out all the different moves that Sammy did that were getting him ready for taking on Darby Allin and everything like that. I really, really liked that. Sammy pulled off the win, obviously, with this by using the lariat and a running knee, and then what Jericho called a torture knee. I really got into that. Then for Sammy to basically talk about Darby and then Darby to show up, I like that. I always like these two. I think that they are going to be tremendous superstars in the future. I absolutely cannot wait for next week's match. Next week, if AEW does not turn out a great program next week, I'm going to be really disappointed because the match card next week is unbelievable. But I absolutely can't wait for Sammy versus Darby. And I hope that they put out something on Twitter or Facebook or on Sammy's video log that ramps this up even more. I hope that AEW does some vignettes with them and stuff like that. Then I kind of had a little bit of a letdown, I guess, again, with Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford and Chuck Taylor, best friends with Orange Cassidy. I don't know what I was expecting here. But whatever I was expecting, I didn't get. I like Kip Sabian's character. I like Superbad. I like his heelish behaviors. I love his cocky swagger. Do I necessarily buy the whole Penelope Ford? By the way, congratulations on you guys' engagement and everything. But I don't know that I buy her. I don't know that she's established her character well enough that I really know her. I know a lot of you out there know her when she was with Joey Janela and was on the indie scene, but I don't know her. And maybe, that's part of it. I understand that she's going to do the typical heel manager, heel valet things of getting up on the apron and doing stuff like that. But I want to know of her a little more, especially since she's wrestling in the women's division. But Chuck Taylor, I think I want him more of a singles wrestler. I don't really like or enjoy Best Friends. I don't like their gimmick. I do like them as wrestlers. Their movesets are kind of cool, but I wish he had a different gimmick. I don't think that he fits in. I'm super looking forward to Orange Cassidy having his debut match and developing him some more. Because I think that him being the sloth and not really doing a whole lot other than his thumb and him kind of standing in the ring every once in a while, he gets to show his athleticism, but not a lot. I think it's run its course. And so I think that's why I was more excited toward the end of the match than I was during the match. I don't know that Kip and Chuck actually gave us a good match, and I don't know that Jericho and Tony were putting this match really over a whole lot. I don't know that they knew what to do. I don't think Kip versus Chuck was a storyline. Or at least I didn't know what a storyline was. So I didn't get into this match. I didn't feel like I had a vested interest in it. I'm glad that it kind of started maybe a little bit of a storyline. I enjoyed that Jericho told me that Jimmy Havoc lives with Sabian and Ford. I found that interesting and intriguing, and that, they're both from overseas and they've been friends and have wrestled against each other. I enjoy little nuggets of knowledge like that, and how they were then going to build. I liked how Jimmy Havoc was ringside and was cheering on his mate, and how he's a heel too, and they're going to kind of have each other's back. I liked him yelling when people were wasting time. I liked him yelling at Orange Cassidy. I liked that kind of flavor. But the match itself was just like, I loved that Jimmy Havoc ended up jumping the barricade because Orange Cassidy was on the apron. And he pulled him off, and Orange Cassidy took a bump, obviously, and then got him up and did a DDT on him. And, of course, that caught the attention of the ref. I'm not real sure why, because it was happening outside the ring. But I'm glad it did, because it allowed Ford to get in and do a Hurricane Rana on, Chucky. And I was like, yay, she showed me some athleticism, but I didn't really understand why she needed to get in the ring. Can Sabian not take care of himself? Is that the story we're going with now? So does she kind of protect him? Does she get in and do moves? Because the ref had his back turned. She did the Hurricane Rana, and so I didn't really understand why she even had to get in the ring, but I was glad that she did. And then the ref turned around and Sabian pins him. So I guess I'm confused, is what I'm saying, is the reason why I didn't really like this match. When they came out, I didn't understand because I didn't think there was a storyline. They did the match, and I didn't think there was a storyline. But then at the end of the match, with Jericho telling us they live together and Havoc the whole entire time yelling, I realized, oh, we're starting a storyline. And then them, announcing next week we're finally going to get Orange Cassidy's debut against Jimmy Havoc. Well, okay, that makes sense, but it still doesn't change up the fact that I feel like that match was worthless. Yes, it's the start of something, I hope, but I didn't feel like it was that great. And then, of course, we have Shawn Spears. I want to take, a couple minutes and just talk about Shawn Spears and how I really enjoyed him as Ty Dillinger, the Perfect 10 in NXT, and the beginning part of his career in WWE. I liked his character. I liked his gimmick. I liked his cockiness. I liked that whole. Of course, WWE then just trashed him and buried him, and he didn't get the response from WWE that he deserved. WWE didn't use him. The crowd was chanting Perfect 10, holding up 10 fingers every time they saw him. And for WWE to let that kind of heat, that kind of pop, just die, I don't get. So to see him last year get signed to AEW and come out with the mohawk and the contacts and the hood and take on Cody, I was excited. I loved the look and the feel of the character. I loved him, even though you guys know from previous episodes how much I love Cody. I absolutely loved that he nailed Cody with the chair and became the chairman and cut Cody open and left him laying. I loved the start of that. And then them to add Tully Blanchard. I was like, oh my gosh, he is going to be perfect for AEW. They are going to build him as this heel that it has a new gimmick and can do all kinds of different things. But then I totally feel let down. It's kind of like I'm going through WWE again, and I don't want to. He started off 0-6. And I understand that if he's building his character or he's building up other characters, then the losses don't really mean anything. But then again, if you're AEW and you're saying wins and losses matter, well, he's 0-6. What's going on, And so for him to lose last week, and I understand why he needed to lose last week. I totally get that. I like that they mentioned that, on Tuesday night on AEW Dark, he got a win versus Billy Gunn, and I didn't watch AEW Dark. I need to go back and watch that Shawn Spears Billy Gunn match because I bet it's unbelievable. So as he came out to this match, I didn't know how I was supposed to feel about Shawn Spears. I know how I do feel. I like him. I like his character. I like his gimmick. I want him to up it a notch. I want him to get some wins. I want them to create this heel figure that is going to go up against mid-card good guys, basically. But where am I supposed to feel? Where does AEW want me to feel? I don't know. That is a part that I'm kind of confused about. Do they want me to like him? Do they want me to enjoy him? Do they want me to fear him? Do they want me to think that he's this heel? I don't know, because of his win-loss, matches. So he's taking on Justin Law. I think what I wanted to see out of this was not really a match. I wanted to see Shawn Spears' character be rejuvenated, I guess, in this match. I wanted him to go back to his cocky swagger, his heelish behavior, his I'm better than everybody, and I wanted him to be dominant. I didn't really care how long the match was, but I just wanted him to feel dominant. I know that Justin Law was going to get some offense and da-da-da-da. Yeah, I know how that works, but I basically wanted Shawn Spears to stay dominant. Even when Law was getting some offense, I wanted Spears' character to still be dominant. And I don't know that we necessarily got that. I felt like this was a boring match. This is the match that I kind of wanted on Dark. And as I was watching this match, I was like, oh, I wish they would have showed us Shawn Spears versus Billy Gunn. I would have been more intrigued by that. I would have liked that better. I wish they would have done that. I kept feeling myself think that. I wish they would have done this, So, I don't know. I just kind of felt let down with that. And, of course, I was glad to see that he hit the running C4 for the win, and he got another win. So he's kind of on a winning streak now. He's 2-0, this week alone. So, hoping now for him to get back in it. And then we get, next week's matches. And I've already said I'm looking forward to next week. I'm looking for AEW to rebound with Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin and Kip Sabian versus Dustin Rhodes in the TNT Championship quarterfinals. I want those two matches to be awesome. Man, I don't even know who I want to pick in that Sammy Darby match because I love them both. But I can't wait to see it. And I can't wait to see Kip and Dustin. I'm definitely, like I've already said, looking forward to Jimmy Havoc versus Orange Cassidy. I want Orange Cassidy to come out with his sunglasses on and Kip Sabian to knock him off and him become the athletic Orange Cassidy that flies everywhere. And I want Jimmy Havoc to punish him. I don't care whether he uses a staple gun. I don't care whether he uses pliers. I want him to come out and give it everything he's got and see if he can make Orange Cassidy get excited and show something. And then, of course, they say that we're going to see Brody Lee and Kenny Omega in action, which I'm kind of about. But those three matches I'm excited about, and I'm looking forward to AEW. And then, of course, they've been getting me ramped up. I've been ramped up about this match for the last couple weeks. We're getting to see on TV, let me stress that, we're getting to see on TV. We're not having to do a pay-per-view. We're not having to have a big event. It is on normal television. WWE, are you taking note? on TV on their weekly episode, we're seeing the AEW World Championship match, and it is pay-per-view quality. It's Jon Moxley versus Jake Hager in No Holds Barred. And as I'm watching this, I'm so thankful AEW is doing this. We're seeing how it used to be. They used to have these matches on regular episodic TV, on Sundays, or on Saturdays at 6:05. They used to have these kind of matches on regular TV. You could watch them, the belt changing hands or the belt not changing hands, but it being an excellent match. You used to see this. And so I'm pumped. But then I see the actual match, and I'm not. I'm not pumped. I was so let down with this match. And I don't know if it's because I had such high expectations. Maybe that was it. I don't know. I got tired of JR being alone. I know that. I don't like JR calling matches alone. I definitely know that for a fact now. I hope AEW hears me. Please do not have JR call any more matches alone. I understand that this was taped. It was taped at Daily's Place in Jacksonville a couple weeks ago. I know all that. I know that they had JR there then, and JR was, he's in Oklahoma now, and he's not doing matches right now. But I don't like him alone. I hated the whole entire match about hearing about Jake Hager's career at Oklahoma. Maybe it's because I'm not a fan of Oklahoma Sooners. I know that JR is. I know he's a Boomer Sooner. I know that. I know I'm going to get that. But to get it all match long with no one else there to break it up got annoying. I don't care about his amateur wrestling career. I know all about Cody's amateur wrestling career and Dolph Ziggler's amateur wrestling career. You want to mention it? Cool. You want to tell me how you watched it? Cool. To go on and on about it for 15 or 20 minutes? No, I don't want to hear it. So I think that got on my nerves. JR just calling the match, period, kind of got on my nerves. I knew that with the no holds bar, they were going to go all over the place. So I think I was a little let down and shocked that they started off in the ring and stayed in the ring as long as they did. Because they insisted that this was a no-holds bar match. Well, no holds means that you can do anything. So that's what I wanted to see. Otherwise, why use the stipulation? So I wanted JR to point out maybe some illegal things that they were doing, but they could do in this match. If they were going to stay in the ring, then that's cool. Like I said, do some illegal holds or bring some illegal things in there that don't normally get in a match. The first part of this was in the ring, and I felt like they didn't do anything that wasn't okay in a regular match. Now then they went outside and we got to see some submission holds, against the steps in the arena and the barriers in the arena and different things like that. That was a little fascinating. That kind of got my interest a little bit back up. But for those of you who listen to different episodes, if you listen to the WrestleMania, I almost feel I felt like I was let down by the Edge and Randy Orton Last Man Standing match. and kind of panned it a little bit. But I almost feel like this match was along the same lines. I felt like it went on too long, and I felt like it wasn't as edited by the wrestlers as it could have been. I'm not talking about tape edited. I'm talking about edited by Jake Hager and Jon Moxley. I felt like they should have sat in the back and not planned it, not, choreographed it, but I felt almost like I wanted them to plan it just a little, because I felt like you were seeing them think, and you were seeing them, what are we going to do next? And I felt it lagged. I felt like Jake Hager, for being in training camp, he supposedly has been in fight training camp for Bellator. I felt like he got winded a lot and quick. I felt like he wasn't in wrestling shape, I just was really let down by this match. I don't feel like it was exciting. And maybe it's Jake Hager. I don't feel like he has personality. I don't like him talking. I'm glad that when he was in WWE that he had Zeke talking for him. I'm glad now that he's in AEW, he has Chris Jericho talking for him. I found myself wishing that Chris Jericho or Taz was on this with JR and could tell the story that was supposed to be told, that could have told us about the moves, could have filled in where the match was lagging. I think this would have been a better experience and a better match for me had JR had someone else to play off of. Like Chris Jericho, like Taz. No, not Excalibur. I can't stand Excalibur. So, no, not him. But someone on collar commentary that could have helped this match along. Maybe I would have liked it better with that. I did like Moxley finally getting a chair. I was like, why didn't you do that in the beginning? Where is your barbed wire bat that we've seen? Why are you not using that? But anyway, he finally got the chair, and we did a paradigm shift on the chair, and Jon Moxley won. Well, that's who should have won. I'm glad. I know a lot of you out there were rooting for Jake Hager and wanting Jake Hager to take the belt and Inner Circle to have the belt, blah, 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 blah. If you want that, then it needs to be Sammy winning the TNT Championship belt. But no, Jake Hager was not the right champion at the right time, at the right place for this. No, we need to build a champion, and it's Jon Moxley. He's hot right now. He cuts awesome promos. He makes me get interested even when he's not wrestling. I am watching for him. I'm waiting for him to show up. He is the right person for this brand new promotion at the right time. Keep the belt on him. Let's start building a new storyline. Do not continue this one with Jake Hager. Let him go back to being the monster of Inner Circle, the enforcer of Inner Circle, and keep him away from belts, because I don't want to see it. But I'm going to wrap this one up because I know I'm ranting way too much. I'm not raving enough, and I don't want to bore you guys. But I'm just let down. I'm so down about this episode. I hope they get it back next week. I don't know. I just do. Be looking for a news and updates coming soon to you guys. I've got a whole lot of news and updates to do, and I'm going to be doing an episode on that. Remember, as always, if you have any questions, comments, problems, or protests, that you can write me at wrestlingovertime@gmail.com, or follow us on Facebook or Twitter on Wrestling Overtime. Make sure that you let me know. Thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so that you can get all of your latest episodes delivered to you on time. And then make sure that you guys are going to Podchaser, PodChaser.com, podchaser.com, and review this episode, because every review Podchaser gets, they are donating money to the coronavirus charity. And that's not just on this podcast. If you are listening to Joe Rogan, go write a review and rate his episodes, because we want them giving as much money as possible to the coronavirus charities. And guys, I will be talking to you guys soon.